Won't you listen to reason? Will you open your eyes?
Samir in
yes,
the
it is.
UK. Okay.
Hello there. I'm a theist from the Muslim faith. I'm a theist from a Muslim faith, and I'm calling from the UK.
Right. What kind of theist? And
what kind of theist?
Yeah, turn down the audio
Muslim.
stream. Turn down the audio stream that you're listening to us on, because you can still hear us on the phone now.
It's on mute.
Okay. All right.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm calling from the UK. I'm a Muslim from the theist faith. Okay. One more. Just gotta say, I'm calling from with a talk home card, and they said not to be reliable, so it might cut off in the middle of our, speech. So if it does cut off, I apologize from now.
Okay. So do we.
Okay. So okay, I just want to start off by saying, but yeah, I want to debate with you on the existence of Allah, of the existence of God. And before I start, I just want to say, me as a Muslim, I gotta say that I confirm to you that there is no evidence that supports the existence of Allah. There is no evidence that supports
Well, that
the
makes things
existence
easy.
of God.
So,
Why?
So on what
Because-
basis do you believe it?
Sorry?
On what do you base your belief?
Just a second. So there is no evidence. Why do I think that? It's
No,
because-
not why do you think there is no evidence, because we agree with you, obviously. You said stuff where we're both in agreement. The question is, why would you believe something when you've got no evidence for it?
Exactly, but I say that there is no evidence because if there truly was evidence, there wouldn't really be a point in faith. There wouldn't really be a point in belief. There wouldn't be a point in hell or heaven. Okay, because if there was truly evidence, then God might as well just come down and reveal Himself. There's no point. That's the point of that's the point on life. That's the point in test. Well, that's what I believe.
So I'm wondering, do you think God would be bothered by all the Christians in the world? I mean, they're also saying that their point of view is based on faith. So what distinguishes your faith from theirs?
Sorry. So you're trying to say would Christians bother God?
Yeah, because here's all these people who also believe stuff on faith, but they're believing the wrong thing, wouldn't you say? Allah had no son, right?
No, He has no son. It doesn't book it. No, as He.
So what would you say to a Christian who says, my God has Jesus as a son, and I want you to believe that on faith, and I can't give you evidence for Jesus because that would deny faith? What would you think about a guy who says that?
Well, I believe in Jesus. He's Father.
But you don't believe Jesus is the Son of God, and no one gets to the Father except through Jesus.
No, we don't really. We don't believe He's the Son of God, but we believe He's a follower. He's a prophet of Allah.
So what would you say to a Christian who's making the mistake of thinking that Jesus has this special place in divinity?
Well, there's a whole other debate on that. But quickly, I'll actually say, well, it contradicts itself because the Bible is based on believing in one God.
But that's where faith comes in, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's where faith comes in, right? You just have to have faith that stuff is true, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know, but exactly. But you can't prove His existence, but you can prove Him logically. You can prove Him with reasoning. If you actually take the Bible into consideration, if you say that Jesus is the Son of God, the Bible contradicts itself. It doesn't make sense because the Bible believes that there is one God. They believe that Jesus is God. They believe that God is God. And as far as I'm concerned, I think they believe that the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, is God as well. That's three gods. Make up your mind. You either believe in one God or you believe in three gods. It doesn't make sense.
But they believe that based on faith.
And there's a lot of factors. A God wouldn't die in the first place. Jesus died.
How do you know?
God doesn't die.
Yeah, how do you know that?
How do you know that?
Because it's the concept of God, what it's speaking of. It's like saying...
Well, I mean,
yeah,
obviously you and a Christian have slightly different concepts of God, but how am I supposed to know which one of you has got the right one except by you just saying, well, they're wrong?
Well, this is this is Christian and this is Islam. There's a whole other debate, but what you're saying is, why should I believe yours and why shouldn't I believe Christianity?
Well,
the Christian God?
do you think that the Christian God and the Muslim God are the same God?
No, probably definitely not, because our God doesn't forget, but the Christian God.
Well, I guess you're at odds with some Islamic scholars then.
Well, some, but not all.
Yeah, not all, but...
Sorry?
But I mean, the reason I brought this up is not to take this on a tangent, but because you're starting this conversation by saying that I haven't got any evidence, I haven't got anything that could be considered, let's say, scientific, but I do think, but you're saying that we should take this on faith. And my problem with that is that if I resolve to take something on faith, then I could just believe anything, right? I could just believe. I mean, you know, I could just pull. You know, we were born out of a giant sea slug, and that's my faith, and nothing contradicts it. So, what is it that makes you decide specifically that the Muslim God has got to exist and all these other religions are wrong?
Because it logically makes sense for me. I mean, you can't physically prove
wouldn't
it.
that rely on evidence if you were talking about logic?
Sorry?
Wouldn't that rely on evidence if you were talking about logic?
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about evidence, but not physical evidence, not evidence that you can see. We're talking about logical evidence. I mean, for example, if you take the math equation 2 + 2 = 4, you can't prove that with evidence, but we just know it's right because it's logically right.
You can
so this
demonstrate
is what I'm trying
it.
to say. I don't believe in Allah, and I don't believe in God because there is evidence for Him. It's just logical. That's what I'm trying to say. You can prove Him logically, but you can't prove Him physically. And I'm telling you that it's impossible to prove Him physically. It's all about logical thinking and logical reasoning.
So then I wouldn't be crazy to just dismiss the whole shebang and say that the God doesn't exist, right?
No,
I mean,
you wouldn't be crazy. Of course not.
Okay.
Definitely not. Because if you don't, what? Sorry?
Okay, go on.
Oh yeah. Because it's just I mean, it's your opinion, obviously, but you think differently. But yeah, that moves me on to my next question. You say that we do need to prove its existence, right?
I would
But
say
what if
that
I
it's
said,
not
can you-
particularly reasonable to jump to a conclusion without having a good reason to do it.
Sorry, say again?
I would say that it's not reasonable to jump to a conclusion without having a good reason to make that assumption. And that's why I say that there's no point in believing in God if there's no evidence for it.
I think I have very good reasons to believe. I think you have fewer reasons to not believe in God than to do believe in God, and that's my personal view.
So we're not talking about faith then, after all. You started this with faith, but actually you're saying...
Well, it depends on your definition of faith.
What?
How would you define faith?
Belief without evidence.
Sure. Belief
without evidence.
Exactly, belief without evidence.
Okay.
Evidence, physical evidence, or are we talking about logical evidence?
What other kind of evidence is there?
Yeah, can you give me an example of the logical evidence?
Like I said, 2 + 2 = 4.
I know 2 + 2 = 4. How do you get from that to an omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient being who created the universe?
I think. So sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Where's the? I mean, we feel justified in saying that 2 + 2 is 4 because we can demonstrate it in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of that hinges around the concepts that we describe as 2 and 4.
Okay, then I'll use another example. Say if you I say to you, we as a human population, we accept that every multiple of 5, the ending digit is always either 5 or 0.
Right,
You
that's
can't
induction.
demonstrate that, but it logically makes sense. You can't keep
can demonstrate that.
every single
demonstrate
number because there's an infinite amount. Because you don't know, maybe 3,374,000,000,000, you know, so on and on. The last digit might be 2, but it might be a multiple of 5. You can't actually demonstrate that, but we believe
We don't just believe stuff in math. I mean, there are actually formal processes that have been worked out that work, like logical induction.
Using
but none of those.
Okay, but it's not. That's not physical. That's not evidence. It's logical. It makes sense when you look at it. It does make sense.
But that doesn't get you to a God.
So yeah, well, I look at it differently. I think it's logical. It's logical. God makes logical sense.
How does 2 plus 2 equals 4 get you to a God?
I mean, if I said 2 plus 2 wasn't, if I said 2 plus 2 was 5, then you'd think I was crazy. But a minute ago, you said I wasn't crazy for rejecting belief in God. So they must be different types of things in your mind.
Sorry, what do you mean? I'm not following you.
Well, I asked. Okay, if I said 2 plus 2 is actually 5, you would probably think I'm crazy, right?
Yes.
But a minute ago you said, I asked if I thought God doesn't exist, I wouldn't be crazy. So this isn't the same kind of sweeping error, not believing in a God, that just denying the basic rules of math is.
I brought up the example of 2 plus 2 equals 4 to explain to you how you can prove something logically. You can't prove that with physical evidence.
Sure. So can you prove God just as well?
No. No. To you, I think. To me, I can. Or the other, I can't. But to you, I don't think I can. That's why I want to develop the question and try to reverse it.
Well, that would be a weird way of doing math if you thought that worked the same way. I mean, would you feel comfortable saying to somebody, well, I was brought up believing 2 plus 2 is 4, but, you know, for you it may be 5 or 23.
Again, I'll repeat it. The only reason I got the 2 plus 2 equals 4 example is to show you how you can logically prove something, and it doesn't have to be with physical evidence.
But
you don't have to relate it to God. I don't have to relate it to God. But the only reason I brought up is to show you that you can logically prove something without physical evidence. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Okay.
Okay, so math is abstract and science stuff is not. Which category is God in? Is God a thing that exists in the real world, or is God an abstract philosophical concept?
God doesn't exist. God exists. Yes, I tell you what I believe. God exists.
So you believe in a God that exists and has some impact on the physical world?
In what way?
Well,
we assume. I mean, if he doesn't actually do anything, then there's also not much point in believing him.
Yeah. Does your God do anything?
Yes, he does. I mean, he obviously created the...
If he does something in the physical world, then that becomes a testable hypothesis, and there should be evidence to demonstrate that this God exists and that it does something in the physical world. So where's your evidence?
Okay. Look, okay. When I talk about logically, I'm talking about...
No. We're not talking about a logical question here. You just made a claim that your God exists and he has some impact on the physical world. Is that correct?
Yes.
If that is true, then that God should leave evidence. There should be evidence.
He shouldn't leave evidence. He does it without leaving evidence. That's my point.
That is insane.
If he does leave evidence, he might as well come and show himself.
What other facts about the physical, non-abstract world do we accept with no evidence whatsoever?
None, probably.
That's my point.
Well, we don't actually have a reason to believe in anything else. I mean, if you bring up dragons, why do we believe in dragons? Well, I don't have a reason to believe in dragons.
And so we don't. That's why.
Yes, but we
I mean, we
could
believe
have
in
reason.
dinosaurs, but that's because there are physical artifacts that demonstrate that there were dinosaurs. Somebody who believed in dinosaurs before they dug up all those bones would be just leaping to conclusions and making stuff up,
Yes,
even
I
if
know,
they
but
happen to be right.
It wouldn't be. I mean, okay, look, if say dinosaurs existed, I mean, I wouldn't care whether dinosaurs existed or not. I don't have a reason to believe in if dinosaurs existed or not. So,
But I can
I'm
show
talking
you
about before
reasons.
we found the evidence, of course. So I don't really have a reason to believe, say, in dragons. But I do have a reason to believe in God.
Okay,
I
so
think
what's that
we
reason?
all have a reason to believe in God, but we don't believe in Him because there is no evidence supporting His existence.
So what reason is it then, if it's not evidence?
What reason? Well, of course, the creation of the universe. You know, nothing coming from something can't come from nothing. You know, that's like the first example. Or that everything would make sense. That everything wouldn't make sense without God being there. For example, evolution, stuff like that. You know.
No,
I think
don't know.
everyone should have has reason to believe in God.
Why don't we encourage Samir to call back next week, because there's another caller on the line that may be able to move forward with the same line of reasoning.
Yeah.
Another theist who wants to talk about the origin of the universe, so that might be a good segue.
Yeah, in the meantime, you should look up Lawrence Krauss's video, A Universe from Nothing.
Sorry, can you spell her name?
Look up Lawrence Krauss's video, A Universe from Nothing, and watch that.
And if you want more time to lay this stuff out, then email tv@atheist-community.org after the show, and try calling in next week.
So I can't get into my next question, or?
We've taken a lot of time on this, and we don't want to monopolize the whole show, but you are welcome to call in again.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks for calling, Samir.
Thank you.